Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Foster Files, a podcast about animal rescue and welfare. My name is Kelly, and every week I talk about issues surrounding animals in this country and to the people who are passionate about making their lives better. With me today is Brian Manni, founder and CEO of Pup O'Clock, a company that offers subscription boxes meant to strengthen the bond between dogs and the kids in their families. Hi, Brian. How's it
Yeah.
going?
Hey, Kelly, fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so excited to talk to you and have our listeners get to know your product. You and I got a chance to talk previously, but I am so excited to talk about Pup O'Clock with everybody. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started, how the company got started, and what you guys are hoping to accomplish?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Just right off the bat, I wanted to mention that I'm not a vet or a trainer or an expert. The purpose behind building this was to keep kids and families engaged with their dog and realize all the great value that there is over time, and also work with shelters to hopefully lower abandonment rates and also donate back. So that's kind of what our movement is all about. So I started this we launched this 2 years ago almost. And what I wanted to do was kind of bring entertainment and education together. And I saw issues. I mean, tale as old as time. You have mom and dad taking care of a dog after 2 weeks. It happened when I was growing up with my sister promising to take care of the dog. And, and then the parents don't know really what to do with the dog. And so I wanted to build a tool so that the kids can be empowered to adopt responsibility first and foremost. And what better way to adopt responsibility than taking care of a dog? It's beneficial for the kid to build that discipline and consistency. And it's also obviously great for the dog too. So it helps the families and the community and so on and so forth. Um, so I took kind of the subscription model, kind of the Bark Box and Pup Box model, and I added or combined education, enrichment, and entertainment. So I wanted to make this kind of an entertaining adventure for the kids to go on to remind themselves each month to re-engage with their dog. So we have a vet that writes all of our educational content in conjunction with a canine enrichment expert who writes enrichment content. And then we coupled that with trading cards, comic books, animation, and all kinds of fun things to keep those kids and families engaged with their dog. So it's super different than just kind of a toy and treat box. I think it gets kind of grouped in there from time to time. So that's why I'm so thankful to talk to you, because it's got so many tentacles to it and so much value as it relates to, just building a new generation of puppy owners. Um, so when you subscribe, everyone starts with a flagship box, which, as you know, I sent that to you. And that kind of
Mm-hmm.
sets the table for responsibility. It introduces our main characters, Dr. Daisy, Tori, who's our enrichment expert, and then Pup O'Clock himself, who's our main character. And then it comes also with a chore chart, a magnetic chore chart. You stick it on your refrigerator, and it tells you kind of how to keep accountable for your dog, water, taking your dog out, feeding your dog, things of that nature. It's just a basic blocking and tackling. Um, and then also a responsibility contract, a gotcha certificate. So again, empowering the kids to say, okay, I own this process now, and giving them tools finally to be able to execute on that. And then the subsequent boxes are all fun themes. So there's always toys and treats in there. We have great product. We partner with Soda Pop, who's got great toys, but also enrichment product. And then we also have recipes. So it's a whole combination of fun in a box that just by osmosis, my hope is that there'll be a common sense dog owner. And again, lower those abandonment rates in shelters, and also donate back to shelters for financial support.
So, as you mentioned, you sent me a box and I was so excited to get it because originally I was thinking, well, I don't want him to like waste a resource on me because I don't have a kid, even though I have a dog. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. I have a 6-year-old niece and I'm going to see her Easter weekend. And I'm going to take this box and I'm going to take my dog Cheese because her dog is a senior and, it's just a little bit different interaction level. But she loves our dog Cheese. And so I took the box with me and, uh, I wasn't 100% sure what the response would be because I just feel like, um, kids get so bored by stuff so easily. And so I was like, all right, like she might like it. We'll see how this goes. At the least, I'll get, a couple of videos and I'll get, Cheese will get a new toy and some treats. My niece, Ray, loved this box. She was so excited. I said to her, I was like, you can open it, and these are all things that you get to do with Cheese. And she was like, what? This is amazing. So she immediately pulled the toy out and, started playing with Cheese with the toy. Cheese is excited. She's chewing on the toy. And then she went right into the chore chart. And she was like, "What is this, Aunt Kelly?" And I said, "Well, this is because she's learning to read. So she doesn't fully know how to read yet." And I said, "Well, this is, what you're going to do is you're going to check off a box when you help me take Cheese for a walk, or you're going to help me feed her, or you're going to help me get her water. When we take her outside to go potty, when we do all these things, you get to put a little check mark next to it." She goes, "Oh, well, we already did this today. Can I put a check?" "Yep, absolutely, Ray. You can put a check." "We already did this. Well, I'm going to put a check." I said, "We're playing with her now. I'm going to put a check." "No problem." And then she went right to that responsibility contract and I read it to her and she can write her name. So she wrote her name and then she wrote her dog's name because she wanted to write her dog's name. And she was so incredibly engaged. And then in the flagship box, is one big bone, which I told her she could give Cheese another day, but there's also a bunch of training treats in there. So she's 6 years old. So she said, "Aunt Kelly, can I give these to Cheese?" And I said, "Well, you got to make her work for him. You got to make her do stuff." And she's like, "All right, well, what can she do?" I said, "Well, she knows how to sit. So you got to make her sit." I said, "And she's learning, touch to the hand." And she did all those things with her. And then, like, the next day, she, pulled the treat bag. "Hey, Aunt Kelly, am I allowed to give Cheese a treat?" I said, "Sure, make her work for it." She right away, "Cheese, sit." And she points her little finger at her, and Cheese is
That's
like, "Okay,
great.
no problem." And she was doing touch, and Cheese is learning that. So I had to like train Reagan how to train Cheese. But it was awesome. She was so engaged. And then after I left from the weekend, I got a text from my sister the next night before Ray went to bed, and she was marking off her chore chart for Jade. It was so awesome. So I got to see in real time that engagement level of I want to do something with my dog. I'm really excited about this. She liked the little trading cards. She took the stickers and put them on her little play chest she has. She was all excited about the stickers. So it made me say to my sister, "You got to get her this box," because she loved it and she loved playing with Cheese with it. It was
Yeah,
really
they're
awesome.
looking and kids are looking to make an impact. They wanna do what mom and dad are doing all the time, and they just don't have the
Right.
tools, and they love the dogs. And to your point about that particular dog, it's called Pup O'Clock because puppies are around the clock care, but it's for any dog, old,
Mhm.
young, all kinds of dogs. So that's awesome to hear, and I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about some of the things that are not in the flagship box. Like, what are some other things that people can expect as their subscription progresses?
Absolutely. So the centerpiece of each of the boxes is a trading card, and it's a trading card of a real dog. We're trying to build out kind of like a Pokemon effect. And so I'll give you an example. We have our back to school box, which is I think the dog was a border collie, a herding dog, an intelligent dog. And just as a side note, all of these dogs that were accumulating throughout the different boxes, different trading cards, is going into our eventual animated series called The League of Pups. So that's going to be rescue dogs going out into the community and kind of teaching humans how to be better puppy owners and things of that nature. So it's kind of like Bluey or a Paw Patrol for the purpose of responsible pet ownership. But back to the back to school box, we teach kids crate training, kind of separation anxiety, what to do with your dog before school, after school, reading to your dog, doing homework with your dog, things of that nature, so that each month they have a different theme. And again, the trading card is the dogs, and they'll be able to collect that. But then also the toys are specific to that theme as well. And they go hand in hand with the different lessons that either Dr. Daisy writes or Tori writes. Um, so we've been collaborating with shelters for dogs or anyone that really has a passion for that human dog bond. We did, and we always want to put a mission to this particular theme. We don't want to just do kind of Valentine's Day or Thanksgiving. For example, in addition to back to school, we did a Deaf Awareness Month in September. So we actually had I worked with someone that had a deaf dog. Quint was his name. So we want to just honor those kinds of dogs. We had a in Thanksgiving in our Thanksgiving box. It was actually Senior Pet Adoption Month, and we had a dog in a wheelchair. And so it's just really awesome. There's different themes. There's different lessons as a result of that theme. It always keeps the kids hopefully, racing to the door each month to see who the character of the month is, collect the stickers, collect the card, but then also again just build that common sense 101 uh, dog ownership knowledge so that they can accumulate that while just being entertained based on those themes too. And there's always bandanas. You can always count on bandanas, the training treats, because they go along with whatever the lessons are for that month. Um, so yeah, so we're having a ton of fun creating this and thinking kind of outside the box and really making it mission driven in addition to the fun themes. Another quick example is Halloween. We did Halloween in conjunction with Pitbull Awareness Month. So Halloween, scary, pit bulls, they get a bad rap. So
Mhm.
we want to celebrate those types of dogs and get the stigma off of some of those types of dogs and show people that those are great. They contribute tremendously to the community
Mhm.
if raised properly.
Mhm. That's so what age range would you say is ideal for the kids in the household when it comes to the subscription boxes?
Right. So we're kind of figuring that out on the fly too, as we're still in our infancy
Mhm.
stages. But I would say kind of the range is K through 8. If you're looking at it like a bell curve, and 4 to 6th grade
Mhm.
is really probably the target market, but always early intervention, which is great. And then
Mhm.
also we work with a ton of special needs organizations, specifically Autism Pittsburgh here locally in Pittsburgh, and then around the country. So that goes upstream in terms of age. So it's really all over the place, and a great gift from grandparents, aunts and uncles, things of that nature. So
Mhm.
it's what we're also doing with shelters is we're collaborating with them in many different ways. One of the ways is going into school assemblies. What we want to eventually do, kind of my vision is to be an extension of the shelter, and to because we're already donating back and we're providing an engagement tool. We want to go into schools, or we're working alongside any events or organizations that they work with whenever they'll have us to just bolster their brand too. And we want to contribute in any way we can, and that works differently with different kind of rescues and shelters and organizations like that. So but getting into schools is kind of what we're trying to accomplish this year, and we're doing so by we just ordered a Pup O'Clock, our main character mascot, so that we can use that as something fun, high fiving the kids and bringing a kind of a brand recognition to that. So that my hope is that Pup the yellow dog is synonymous to kids engaging with dogs, lowering abandonment rates with shelters. And we just want to be an extension of not only shelters, but the families, again, to give the kids the tools to adopt responsibility. And to be honest with you, this ran really parallel with my journey of sobriety and really discipline and consistency and teaching you or giving you something that you realize you're not the center of the universe anymore. You're working towards something bigger, and eventually, this program and this movement, you become a better human. Is my hope, so that even parents that don't have a dog might want to adopt a dog because of Pup O'Clock. And now that we have the tools that they can say, hey, we can teach our kids responsibility this way.
What I've learned in the last 2.5 years of fostering, more so than anything else, is that enrichment is way more important than a lot of pet owners give it credit for. And when I think about my younger self in new and pet ownership, I was not enriching my dogs nearly enough. I mean, I tried. I did what I could. I loved my dogs. No one's saying that if you don't enrich your dogs, it doesn't mean that you don't love them. But by having those enrichment tools available and those enrichment skills available, you're going to find that your dogs are less barky, less destructive, maybe not destructive at all. They're going to be much more willing to listen to you and cooperate with you and relax at the times that you want to relax. Like we know when we come home from work that if Max and our long-term foster and Cheese, our resident dog, don't get a walk and then don't get some like playtime and don't get some like chew time, then we're not chilling for the night until that happens because they're just going to drive us up a
Yeah.
wall. So I love the idea of like starting because kids also want to be engaged with, right? Like it's not really much different. They need that enrichment as well. And so if you can kind of put those things together, it really gives you an opportunity to kind of have all those demanding little personalities in the household kind of working together towards the same goal.
Yeah, enrichment's awesome. It's a huge component of what we're doing, and it's inexpensive and it's easy to do. And I just learned that through our enrichment expert, just through like busy boxes. Because
Right.
just like you, when I was growing up, I thought really our dog was just bored. It wasn't,
Yeah.
it just that's why they chew shoes or they misbehave, as you mentioned. But if you keep them stimulated with the simplest of things, um, in a lot of our boxes, we have those recipes, and we also provide like slow feeders or lick mats or just
Mhm.
those kind of enrichment items where you could put peanut butter on the enrichment toy and it just keeps them it's good for holiday parties or anything like that. It keeps them at bay,
Mhm.
keeps them busy, it tires them out, which is
Mhm.
awesome, and that's so key in keeping them happy and not barking, to your point. It helps
Mhm.
so much in socialization, it's great. So we're super happy that that's a big component um of really our pillars of the company, which is education, enrichment, and entertainment.
So, what kind of feedback are you hearing from shelters? What kind of feedback are you hearing from your clients? I know you're kind of in your new stage, so you're probably like
Yeah.
getting as much feedback as you can to continue to progress your business. So, what kind of feedback are you hearing?
Well, I mean, we're getting great feedback, and we're always open. I'm super open-minded. Again, I'm not the expert. I'm just trying to put the experts together for this bigger purpose. So I'm always asking for feedback from anyone, from customers that we have or shelters, and we're getting a lot of good feedback back, and we're implementing that. And we've pivoted so much. When we first started, we actually didn't even have enrichment in there. So that's something that we added. And then, but just in terms of the it's been kind of a journey with how can I put it? It's just continuing to evolve is the best way I can put it. In terms of feedback, it's been overwhelmingly good because um, I think I think people are clamoring for something to number one get their kids off their phones, go outside and engage with your dog because it's so good for you as you become just a
Mhm.
better human being, and it builds like discipline and consistency like I talked about. So I think that's been probably the biggest thing because a lot of the entertainment around just entertainment in general isn't mission driven, isn't for the purpose of education. And that's kind of what I was looking at to begin with is combining those two things and making it fun to learn. And what better way than to take care of that living, breathing dog in your house. So that's pretty much been the overarching feedback is just the responsibility component of it and giving that those tools to the kids. And then we'll see as we go in terms of helping the abandonment rates and supporting events. And again, we're pivoting all the time. And as I mentioned, the enrichment and now with the mascot. And again, I'm all ears to I want this to be something where kind of anyone that wants to contribute can in terms of our customers and our partners.
So I am going to go ahead for those that are following along on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to show you guys kind of a sneak peek of like what you see when you are getting your first box. So what kind of things are coming along in it. So you can see here you got a lot of different items in one box, and it really is that much stuff. I remember Ray just kept, pulling stuff out, pulling stuff out, pulling stuff out. So definitely you're not getting shorted at all. But if we go down here on the website, and for those that are listening, I am going to put the website link in our show notes. So you will be able to access the Pup O'Clock website. But you can see you're getting treats and recipes, stickers, activity guides, trading cards, toys and accessories. You're getting all of these items every single month. So you're going to be able to really drive that connection between your kid and your dog at home. And I really love the idea of, not only supporting the bond between the kids and the dogs, but supporting a local business like yours. You guys are right here in Pittsburgh. Like we even talked about maybe doing this in person. I just don't have
Yeah.
the setup for it. Um, and so if you're really trying to support smaller businesses and still get enrichment and do these treat boxes, this is a great way. This is a great way to do that.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, it's so different than just the toy and treat. I just want to emphasize that there's so many different
Oh,
tentacles to this
yeah.
thing. And be on the lookout for as we expand this as a kind of a full blown entertainment company. As I said, there's a couple sizzle reels of animation on our Instagram, and we're working with a local college actually here on our animated series, Point Park University, so we're getting those
Oh,
students
nice.
involved as well. Yeah, so it's really cool working on a board game, kind of a video game app, things like that. So it'll all kind of come together. It's kind of a lot right now, but definitely the fastball is the subscription because it'll be entertaining each month. You'll learn a ton, and it's like your alarm clock every month just to remind you I got to get back to my buddy and build that bond, build that relationship because the value that they'll see is unreal. And my hope too is that they'll wanna go to the vet. I mean, this is just they'll wanna go to the dog trainer, or they'll be more attentive when that kind of stuff happens, and there'll be less incidents and all those good things that come with just
Mhm.
education and educating, kids around socialization of dogs and things of that nature that, they'll grow up and maybe wanna get in that field, and hopefully we'll just build this out and help all the other silos in the industry trying to help the pets and the families.
Well,
Good
it's
deal.
pretty clear that you guys are on the right track, and I'm so glad that I get to meet you at what you call the infancy of your company, and then
Totally.
just continue to watch this grow because I think it's so great. Like I said, I got the box and I was like, okay, well, like we'll see if she likes it, and she just absolutely loved it, and she's
So
absolutely
great to
loved it. Like
hear.
there was no There was no 2 ways about it. It was an absolute slam dunk on Easter weekend. I could have taken her Easter basket and just, like, returned everything. You know what I mean? She
That's great.
not
And
that she
mom
would
and
have
dad
let
could
me do
learn too.
that, but I
You
could have
know,
snuck it back in the car and, like, saved a little money, you know what I mean? But what are you gonna
totally.
do?
Yeah. No, that's great
There's
to
these
hear.
it
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. So if it's all right with you, I think now is a good time when we're talking about supporting rescue and we're talking about supporting the dogs that need homes. I think would be a good time for us to do our foster spotlight.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen again for those watching on YouTube. And again, if you're not watching on YouTube, as always, the link for the foster spotlight is going to be in our show notes. But today we are talking about Coda. Coda is at Humane Animal Rescue of Pittsburgh. And you guys remember HARP because we've had HARP on the podcast talking about the work that they do, not only on the rescue side, but on the wildlife side. But Coda is a mixed breed dog. He's a male and he's almost 4 years old and he's a pretty big boy. He's 63 pounds and he's got a big old blockhead. But just look at that face, Brian.
I
I mean,
love
how
it.
could you resist this dog? So I'm going to go ahead and read his profile. This lovely guy is Coda. Coda came to us as a stray, so we do not know much about his background, but we are sure that his future is bright and full of butt wiggles and lots of yummy snacks. Coda is a stronger fella that loves to go outside and take in all that life has to offer. He loves treats and toys and napping in the sun. If you are looking for a new adventure buddy, come meet Coda today. And I'm going to flip to another picture because he's one of those dogs that looks like he has a perpetual smile on his face.
The best.
He's brown, but his like little forehead wrinkles are black. He's really a beautiful, beautiful dog. So if you are interested in adopting a little bit of a bigger dog that wants to go on walks and be an adventure buddy, you definitely need to go to Humane Animal Rescue's website at humaneanimalrescue.org and you need to check out Coda because that is a good looking pup right there.
I love that. Also on the
I
back of
know.
our
He's great.
trading cards on the back of our trading cards, as we celebrate the different dogs that we collaborate with, there's what's called a rough report, and it does tell the dog's story on the back, so the kids can learn about real dogs and the dog of the month. And it celebrates them, testament gives them a spotlight in our boxes as well. So
I love it. I love it. So, in addition to your website, how can people connect with Pup O'Clock?
best place to learn about us is I guess our Instagram page in addition to our website, which is at Pup O'Clock _. So those two are the best places as we're trying to build out other pieces of our social media. Um, but more to come with this mascot that we're getting. So we'll be able to flood it more with some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And just as a reminder for my listeners, you can check in with me at the Foster Files podcast on Gmail. You can find us on YouTube now, anywhere you get your podcasts. And if there is somebody that I need to be talking to, like Brian, do what he did and just email me at the Foster File podcast at gmail.com. But Brian, honestly, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. I can't thank you enough for sending that box because I'm a number one fan now. I love it. I think that enrichment is so incredibly important and getting kids involved, that is the way to create that forever family that we're looking for with these rescue animals.
Thank you so much for having me on. This is the best way to get our message out there. Like I said, this is more of a movement, so it's tough to advertise, with all the other toy and treat boxes out there. So thank you so much for allowing me to come on.
Thank you, Brian. And everyone, please remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to animals. Have a great day.